The swarming mass, which moves as one, follows a well-worn path from Brisbane to Sydney on a test of endurance. 9 days, 1,300 kilometres, leaving behind a trail of New South Wales coastal towns and moving occasionally inland. 64 cyclists strain for the ultimate reward, the tour leader's yellow jersey, going to the one who accumulates the least amount of time for the journey. Keeping incident-free is part of the key to earning the tour lead. Minor disasters mean seconds and minutes lost and are to be avoided if possible.
Car come the other way. I thought you should have been up front of the bunch.
Hoping for no such bad luck, Stephen Hodge, the favoured Australian entrant, a 24-year-old science graduate fresh back from a worthwhile campaign in Europe.
Pommies are working well.
It's almost time for a start. Not all of the 14 stages go from point A to point B. Short street circuits or criteriums account for many of the kilometres on tour. To open the 1985 event, 16 teams of 4 rattle the pedals around 40 laps of a 1 kilometre Brisbane circuit. Switzerland has a strong team, so does Norway. The United States back up from a win the previous year, and the New Zealanders can't be underestimated. Nor can the Australians. Victoria's Repco boast a talented unit, as does Australia 1, led by Steve Hodge.
I certainly feel pretty confident about this race. Time will tell. This race is very even. There are lots of riders, strong riders from Europe that I know and have raced against. I know some of the riders to watch, and it's going to be a very difficult race indeed.
Seconds lost can be as important as minutes on tour, and finishing among the place getters in any one of the stages is worth a time bonus. 20 seconds for first, down to 5 seconds for fourth. Hodge is on target early with a second placing and a 15-second bonus, or at least he thought he was.
On the bunch. Second. New Zealander.
Elation, though, turns to disbelief when Hodge is informed of a tactical mistake. In a criterium, riders are allowed 1 lap grace for a puncture. Hodge took a lap out for a tyre change, but no puncture, resulting in relegation back to the bunch and no 15-second time bonus for second. The open road has to wait until after day 2, where another street circuit prepares riders for the long stages ahead. This one's a little more arduous than the tour opener, a 90-kilometre dash around a 1.5-kilometre Gold Coast circuit. A small group, including Hodge, adopt successful tearaway tactics.
Hard out of the corner, off the saddle. Wait for the others to catch up, and then they can go through, do a turn after this corner, I think.
With each lap, the lead increases until it's the bunch who find themselves being chased by the breakaway rather than the reverse. Nearing the finish, the bunch is caught, losing more than 2 minutes overall time to the tearaways, who settle down out in front to fight out the placings. Hodge, for the second time in 2 days, figures in the finish.
Keep back, please, keep back. And here they go, Andy Pullen. Andy Pullen, look at Koda. Koda on the outside, oh, it's a beauty. The Swiss bloke on the far side, God, did he come over, 100 miles an hour.
Well, that was a hard little race, that one. Fallen thought he had it won. On the line, I was just behind him, I think. Koba might have got him just on the line. Jan Koba's a specialist for that. I had a race in Switzerland, all but one, and I did exactly the same thing. I raised my arm before the line, and Koba came underneath me and beat me by 3 or 4 centimetres.
It was really like this.
Bei mir und du bist so und ich bin so gefahren. Ja, aber ich wollte den Windschatten, oder? Ich hab mich nicht gesehen.
J'ai dit normalement.
Day 3 on the road, it's 136 kilometres to Ballina. Hodge and the 7 other riders, thanks to the break, have a 2-minute time edge.
Stage today's quite a testing one. It's a new route that we haven't used before, with 5 climbs, or is it 4? 4 climbs, 3 second categories and a first category. First category is the hardest. They're usually quite steep.
I'm a bit worried today. It's 4 big hills and yeah, there's a bit of a crosswind. There could be a lot of trouble today. I'll be hanging in there trying to just stay with the pack, I think. I'm not sure what these Swiss blokes are going to do. I think they'll get excited when they see these hills. They're crazy.
Kevin Nichols is back in the pack, already 2 minutes and 21 seconds behind, still working on the transition from the track to the road. The pressure is mounting. Ballina will be an overnight stop before moving inland to Grafton. After the first long road stage, the lead rider in each team in most cases will stand out. The other 3 riders will look to play the support role. Holding and defending the leader's yellow jersey is a team game. Some riders are enjoying the tough opening road stage more than others. They lead in front and will need to be watched. Hodge is doing that back in the main bunch.
That brake's dangerous. But I can't keep working for the benefit of all the other riders. Got to stay at the front for that. There we go, through to the front. I think it's gear. Going quite fast here. riders in front. The German guy's at the front working hard because he's on the same time he was in the breakaway yesterday in the bunch. We just keep rolling through like this, they won't get too far away. There they are. Out.
The breakaway is only two strong now. West German Michael Moe and Janus Kuhn from Norway. And as Moe was in the breakaway the previous day, either first or second will see him with the tour lead. Endeavouring to whittle away the margin, the workers in the main bunch.
It was pretty hard today. First sort of stage we've had, it was really hard due to the wind. But not only that, everyone's really having a go. You know, the first dinky-die road stage, everyone's really getting stuck into it.
Janus Kuhn and Michael Moe just a little better on the day than anyone else.
It's going to be Janus Kuhn of Norway first.
The second placing gives the West German the yellow jersey.
Michael.
A dream stage for the front two, but a nightmare for Olympian Dean Woods, struggling home 16 minutes adrift.
I thought I would have went a lot better than I am, but just can't get going. I think a lot of the riders are having the same problem. Just the guys just going straight from the start, you know.
Not too hard.
Yeah. Well, you know,
We are track riders, right?
yeah, a lot of the Australians aren't used to this sort of racing, and you get to all the internationals, and these are the best riders I think Australians ever seen. Ooh.
Did you hurt yourself?
Oh, geez, just a finish, yeah. Unreal. Geez, we've still got, what, 5 days to go? 6 days.
I got that off.
Yeah. Doesn't look good. No, does it?
Day 4, the tour moves to Casino, then to Grafton. 2 stages, 165 kilometres in total, about 3 hours of riding. Moe leads the tour, and there's 31 seconds to Steve Hodge in 4th place.
Well, we just started off. We've been going for about a kilometre. Already the pace is right on. There was one rider away. He's still out there by himself. I don't know who that is. But everyone else is keeping pretty well together. Won't be long before someone goes out after him, though, I don't think. I just try and keep a place up a bit further up the bunch, where I can follow any attacks that go. People always moving up around the outside and through the bunch, you know, to get further up the front. So sort of a constant battle for a place. You know, I'm out here, I'm stuck out in the wind a bit. It's not really the best position, but at least I'm out of the way of falls. I can climb up the outside when I want.
Being on a high, painting a picture of aerodynamic precision, the tour lapses to a considerable low point. A fall, though not a simple one, 6 riders down, 3 needing hospitalisation. A police motorcycle escort collided with a parked car and ricocheted into the bunch.
This is the one he came on his head.
What are they going to do?
The policeman head onto the car and bounced back into the field. And just knocked us all down.
Where was he looking?
Well, he was playing the galah for about the last mile or so, trying to knock us across the road with his bike, you know, swinging hooks into the bunch instead of getting ahead and watching out for traffic, you know. And I was on the right side of the road. I copped him when he crashed and flew across in front of us.
You came down?
Yeah.
And what, canted into a couple of bikes, did you? On the way down, or?
No, they ran over me.
They ran over you?
Yeah.
You were trying to control the cars on one side of the road, was that the story?
No, the bikes were all over the road. Wrong side.
Right. There you go, mate. Good, Dick Kennedy.
The tour is over for several unlucky ones. Dean Woods has had enough as well. Certainly not Steve Hodge, though.
I didn't see the accident. I don't know really how it happened. It's unfortunate, you know, the police rightly, I think, treated it just simply as an accident. And really, you know, apart from the unfortunate side of things, I didn't get too upset about it, so.
The Grafton street race is always a well-supported affair.
Grafton's terrific. A crowd creates an atmosphere, really, and it helps you to be motivated. It really helps you to hype up, I guess you could say, for an event.
Grafton hosts the third of 5 criteriums on tour, and pacing round a tight circuit at 60 kilometres an hour leaves little room for inspired breakaways. That's hard work, but the time bonuses are worth chasing, and positioning for a finishing burst is the key.
Tending to favour the Australians a little bit, but they don't seem to be doing real well.
Well, they're not going too badly, but there still hasn't been a local stage winner. Steve Hodge again shows his likeness for the short circuit, but fails narrowly in the run to the line.
Yeah, finished second overall in the tour 2 years ago, didn't ride last year. He's out the Swiss cyclist on the far side of the road coming to Jonas Kuhn right in the centre, racing towards the line now. It's going to be close between Jonas Kuhn and Hodge. Hodge and Jonas Kuhn. Kuhn has looked the hand of the air and said that he's won it.
Corn was the wheel in front, he won it clearly. But
Senior person there somewhere, eh? I couldn't go on with it.
No, I didn't expect to. That was great. It's like, you know, it's always a big risk to leave that, you know, to someone else.
Yeah.
Hodge's second placing and a 15-second time bonus puts him within striking distance of the lead. Grafton to Coffs Harbour is next. 92-kilometre 7th stage of the tour looks fairly routine as the cyclists wend their way towards Coffs Harbour. The nice relaxing pace, or so it seems, allows time for a bit of fine-tuning, albeit with a little help from friends. And there's inspiration from Mother back home in Switzerland, assimilated and filed for later reference. There's no doubt about it, road cycling is as much about mental toughness as physical superiority.
Mentally, that's the main sort of area which I really have to work on, I think, mentally. I'm riding really some very hard races. This race is one of the hardest I've ever ridden, this tour. And it really, in the end, with a group of high-class cyclists, it almost comes down to at the finish who can really just push themselves that little bit extra, who can really look up the front of the bunch and say, I can get to that rider, I can cross the line first.
That part of the game is put to the test between Grafton and Coffs Harbour. 6 riders break away and put a space between themselves and the bunch, a move that changes the complexion of the tour. The main bunch chases, but it's a ragged challenge. Far more organised are the front-running 6, the Victorian Michael Lynch, Dutchman Ed Shearer, Thomas Wegmuller, 2 New Zealanders, Fowler and Barnett, and John Tonks, the Englishman. With the line in sight, Shearer launches into attack. Tonks doesn't let him go. Tonks gets the decision. 4.5 minutes is the margin between the break and the bunch, and 5 out of the 6 in the break occupy the top 5 spots overall. Wegmuller earns the yellow.
Thank you, Waggy. I should have forgotten all about it. What's the time, Jack?
6:50.
Breakfast is a stage in itself.
There's hot food to come after this as well. This is only the first course. After this I'll fill up plate up with a bit of hot food. G'day. Anyone eat? No? Go for it.
I want to be something. I want to be a good business. Yeah?
Tu es content? Bon, il descend, toi. What?
Was there any spaghetti? Did they have spaghetti?
Well, there was. There's a whole...
Oh, it's all macaroni.
I think you missed out.
This is 175 kilometres going on my plate. I think that's probably about as much as I can fit in.
Hodge has plenty to think about. The Coffs Harbour stage took him from within a few seconds from the lead to almost 3 minutes behind in 10th place.
What are we doing, huh?
Yeah. To add to his woes, he only has one teammate left, the other two having retired.
I haven't got enough points to go spins, have I?
So you've got 176k.
Right.
Due about 120. You know where you watch today?
Yeah.
Okay. So 120 finish.
120. Jack Griffin, the manager, will hand this to me at the feeding station at about the halfway point. That'll be wrapped up in foil. Plastic sack will be alright, won't it? Like this one here.
That's what we bought.
How many have you got there?
There's about a dozen there. That would see them both through the stage today. We're probably a couple over.
They're more positive. Yeah.
You know exactly where they are.
Yeah. You got one on that, yeah? Ah, that's it. What's the
There's one person in the race who's probably riding a lot differently and thinking a lot differently from everyone else, and that's the guy with the yellow jersey. The pressure is all on him.
That pressure inspiring a little bit of homework. Riders to watch as Wegmuller carries the weight of the leader's yellow jersey into the longest run on tour, 175 kilometres. 594 kilometres down, 706 to go. Despite holding a good 1 minute 13 second advantage, any of the strong riders down to Hodge in 10th place are capable of encroaching on his lead. It's up to Wegmuller and his team to keep them at bay. Keeping up the energy in a long stage is an absolute necessity. Hodge catches his lunch with a minimum of fuss. Others are not so lucky. Watch out for poachers, Mr. Hodge. At the end of the day, no change. Wegmuller maintains his lead as the tour arrives in Port Macquarie as one. Hodge's chances are slipping away. Emerging as the best Australian hope, Michael Lynch in second place.
Oh, I think so. I think I've got a really good chance at this sort of stage of the race. There's still a couple of hard stages to go, the longer stages, and I'm starting to find a bit more legs every day. And Thomas Wegmuller looked awfully tired coming into Port Macquarie yesterday, so we'll just have to see what happens, and you just got to be in the right place at the right time. There's a couple of riders 2 or 3 minutes down and still got a good chance too, so we'll just have to see what happens.
From Port Macquarie to Foster. Again, no change in the overall standings. It's obvious Hodge has to make a move soon to resurrect his hopes of winning. He initiates a significant break in the Foster criterium, joined by most of the leaders except Wegmuller, who can't go with them.
7 to go. And here's the bunch containing the tour leader. Or is it going to change? There's the English really setting the pace. 2 to go. Lynch in the blue and white.
The Dutchman Ed Shearer wins the stage to be only a second behind in the overall standings.
Towards the line. It's going too well as the New Zealander Miller. Miller, they race it away. It's close. Oh, what a close one.
For the youngest on tour, 18-year-old Brett Dutton, it's all about protecting the legs to hold on to a good overall position as the third best Australian. So how are your legs standing after this tour?
Oh, they're not too bad actually. Each morning they've been pretty good. It's better than I thought they would be. But after each day you're very sore, so you get a massage and hope for the best, get a good night's sleep and try to come up good in the morning.
How are the legs feeling for you? The oldest bloke in the tour, you're standing up all right?
Yeah, legs are standing up pretty well. I've got a few other problems. I've got corns and blisters on my feet. Just not used to this sort of heat, I think, after coming from Tasmania, Hobart at that. And it's probably my biggest problem, where the straps go across, I've worn all the skin off, but I think I've got this far, I'll get through. The hardest day is tomorrow, and I just hope that a few of the young blokes blow themselves up tomorrow.
Graham McVilly, who, like Graham Sears, has to be on the receiving end of a good muscle workout. In Sears' case, Karen Brown works the miracle of massage.
My calves must nearly be like ropes. Does that have any knots in them?
Not too bad. Better than what they were.
Well, there's 4 in a team. You get to know a bloke's legs.
Yes, you do. You get to know the different riders and their different problems, like you know, different styles, different positions on the bike, so they have different muscle problems.
But you give me Graham a workout there. Tell us about his legs.
They're very short. Oh, you'll be right. No, they're not too bad. They were a lot tighter the other day than they are now. So, yeah, they're not too bad at all. There are a few soft spots. But, they're okay.
Every day just sort of adds up, and this all just helps move the knots, I think. 'Cause sometimes they feel like a bit of rope, with knots all over the place. Like all of a sudden you'll be laying here nice and relaxed and you nearly jump off the bed when Karen gets a sore spot. But it must help, definitely.
Do you think being a bike rider yourself you know, how their legs feel.
Yeah, definitely. You got an added advantage, I think, knowing what to look for and where it hurts.
Hodge made the pace the day before and now finds himself a more realistic, though still difficult, margin away from the tour lead. Steve, well, you pulled up some time yesterday. You're 1:50 behind. What's the plan for today?
Today's just to go as hard as I possibly can up the hills. And yesterday I took advantage. Everyone was obviously tired in that criterium, and after the preem I attacked, and you know, not many riders came with me. So today, depending on how I'm feeling, I'll try and do the same thing.
Only 1 second behind.
Yes, it's not much. The tour is open. Everyone can win it now. It's two riders of New Zealand short behind, and everything is possible.
Have you got your eye on that yellow jersey there for tonight?
There are more riders. I have to keep an eye on it.
Foster to Stockton, and some savage hill climbs during the 175-kilometre second longest stage on tour. Is a long time to keep up the concentration.
I chatted to some of the riders. The New Zealanders told me some really quite awful jokes about Australians. You know, and you know, just it breaks the tension for a minute, allows you to, you know, to reconcentrate a bit better afterwards, I think.
Three cyclists feel fit enough to take on the open road. It was Graham Sears who made the first move away from the pack.
We've got over the two hardest hills in the race with quite a large group, maybe the whole bunch. So the race definitely hasn't finished yet. Got over 100 kilometres to go, and still wide open. Just shows you that really everyone's pretty tight, and there's no one who's really a lot stronger than anyone else. I know I wasn't having an easy time up the hills. There are two riders out in front, Victorian Fearless and I think a Japanese. Oh, Searsy. Graham Sears from New South Wales.
Actually, Steve, it's Graham Sears and a Dutchman, Jan Siemens. Victorian Steve Fearless is there as well, but he's momentarily sidelined with a puncture. All three, though, are a long way down the overall classification. The bunch knows that, but there's pride at stake, and the chase is on.
So what are we going to do? You're not going to do anything. Well, the Americans want to do something. I want to do something. You should want to do something. Righto. And the Germans too will work, I think. They haven't got anyone. Right.
The lead opens to more than 5 minutes. Not for long, though.
Marvellous what a bit of organisation does in a bunch among the people who want to catch a breakaway. We pulled back 3 minutes in about 40 k's. They're just up ahead, almost within sight.
Ed Shearer, 1 second behind the tour lead, looks for an added boost that could give him the yellow jersey. Wheeling into Stockton, Sears drops out of the lead with a puncture. Fairless and Siemens find new life in their legs for the stage-winning honour. Fairless gets there, just. Shearer's third placing earns him a time bonus, and he wears yellow with 1 day to go.
In fact, I think this is the first time a Dutch cyclist has ever led the Tour.
The final day. The Dutchman will defend a 14-second lead over Wegmuller. Steve Hodge needs to produce a superhuman effort to win from 2 minutes 4 seconds down in 8th place.
Steve, looking forward to it?
No. It's not the best way to finish off the biggest bike race in Australia. But luckily it'll be the only day that's been really horrible weather like this. So.
More realistic from an Australian point of view, Mike Lynch in 3rd place, 35 seconds down.
There's a bit of wind out there. Do you think that's going to affect the situation?
Oh, I don't think so. I think it'll keep it pretty calm. Actually, early, it's a long way to go, and if anyone tries to get away, I think they might be mixing ambition with suicide.
We'd have to be racing under possibly the worst conditions we've ever struck in the 4 years of the Tour.
But this is shocking weather. Just rain's okay on its own and wind is okay on its own, but the two together make it life really, really miserable.
You have to shut off from pain. I can remember once riding on my own for about 70 kilometres in a race in Switzerland, which really was very hard. And I remember I was stung on the leg by a bee, and that pain was quite sort of severe, but it was in a way good. It took my mind off the pain, you know, in my legs and just having to push them. And, you know, you really do build up sometimes quite sort of a lot of pain.
There are casualties. The conditions get the better of 10 riders en route from Newcastle to Hornsby and they retire. That could be seen by some onlookers as the sensible alternative. Hornsby, wet and windy, waits for the tour to arrive.
Somebody's going to have to tread on it on the other side.
It was really cold, really miserable, and early on we had lots of attacks, and that really broke the field up. Later on, luckily I felt a bit better, could handle it. But I haven't ridden such a horrible stage for a long time.
Nor had most of the others. Mike Lynch had his sights on the Tour win, but every move he made came under the very watchful eyes of the Dutchman Shearer. Shearer defended his concealed yellow jersey perfectly, controlling the dangers to his Tour lead. The one that got away was Englishman Dave Mann, appearing right at home in the murkiness. He led the field into Hornsby. A depleted main bunch, including the leaders, fight out the subdued finish. The battle had been decided earlier on in the stage.
There they are, and there's Jonas Kuhn of Norway taking that out. Jonas Kuhn being the bunch put in there. Notice the yellow jersey.
A quick change in the local before the final wet ride to Sydney.
Very soon after the start, I realised my one big aim was just to hang in there.
Were you aware that there were a lot of people actually dropping off and retiring?
Oh yeah, because I can remember I was always at the back of the bunch, but throughout the race I was getting closer and closer to the front. So you know, I'd sort of look around, there'd be no one behind me, but I'd be a lot closer to the front. So yeah, at the finish I think there were only about 20 of us in the bunch.
And in the bunch there was all the leaders there. Shearer did chase down Lynch in that critical period there.
Yeah, for sure. You know, it's always the way. Always the best riders are left at the finish. You know, it's a race of attrition. The strongest survive, and I just survived. So I'm not one of the strongest at the moment.
Next year, perhaps.
Yeah, perhaps. Yeah.
Coogee Beach provided no hint of sunshine either for the closing fanfare. Ed Shearer only had to hold position in the main bunch to defend his yellow jersey and win overall honours. American Andy Paulin won the stage. Ed Shearer had enough in reserve for a final sprint to take second place and make certain of winning the 85 Tour.
Shearer would take out second place.
The margin of victory in favour of the Dutchman, 29 seconds. Stephen Hodge down the order in 9th place.
Would you give a big hand for the Dutch cyclist, Ed Shearer?
Winner's trophy.
Next week at this time, ABC presents the premiere of The Spanish Civil War, a 6-part series which tells, for the first time, the story of the Spanish Civil War. Not until Spain's return to democracy and the death of General Franco could those who lived through those traumatic years tell their story. Don't miss The Spanish Civil War next Monday night, 8:25.